Very good afternoon, students. Welcome back to online session. Today, I'm going to start the Unit 2 in Engineering Chemistry, that is Water Chemistry and Corrosion. In the previous session, we have completed the Unit 1, that is Electrochemistry and the Batteries. In the first unit, we have seen the two subunits. One is the Electrochemistry and another one was the Batteries. So now in the second unit, we have the two subunits. One is the Water Chemistry and another one is the Corrosion. Yes. So first, today I'm going to start the introduction of the water chemistry, and later, after completion of water chemistry, I will start the corrosion. Everyone, we know what is the basic need of water and what is the essential use of water in the daily uses. Yes, we know that without water, we can't survive. Like air, water also very, very, very essential to the human being in various purposes. So just let us see the introduction of water chemistry, water and its treatment. Like air, water is one of the few basic material which is of prime importance for the preservation of life on this planet. All are aware of the uses of water. Everyone, we know what is the basic use of water. One is the drinking, cooking, bathing, and for farming. Yes, these are the basic uses of water. But few know the importance of water as an engineering material. Maybe everyone, we don't know that this is the essential material and essential engineering material. Maybe you got an doubt that where we are using in the engineering purpose. Yes. So this is also very, very essential to the human being. Yes. But many of the people are not aware about this. But here, water is one of the basic engineering material. As an engineering material, water is used for producing steam in boiler to generate hydroelectric power. Yes, where we are using water as engineering material in the boilers. Why we are using the boilers? To generate the steam. Whatever the steam is producing from the boiler, that steam is utilizing for the power generation, for electricity production. That is called hydroelectric power here. And furnishing steam for engines, for construction of concrete structures, for manufacturing purpose, and as a solvent in chemical process. Here, these are the basic needs in the engineering purpose. Yes. Sources of water. What are the sources of water? Where we are getting, from where we are getting the water? We know one of the basic thing is the rainwater. Yes. And not only rainwater, we have various sources of water. What are the main sources of water? Rainwater, river water, spring or well water, and the sea water. Here, these are the basic sources. From this, we are getting the water. But here, among all these, rainwater is highly purified water. Before it is reaching the earth, the rainwater is highly purified water. But when it is reaching the earth, rainwater also becoming polluted because of the unwanted impurities in the air. We know from where the impurities are coming. Yes. So nowadays, because of increasing population, the pollution is increasing. Because of increasing the uses of fossil fuels, because of increasing the uses of chlorofluorocarbons, the pollution is increasing in the environment. So this rainwater is accumulating with these impurities in the atmosphere to convert polluted water or impure water. But when before reaching the earth, the rainwater is highly purified water among all these water. But these are the basic sources of water: rainwater, river water, spring or well water, and the sea water. So let us see one by one. Rainwater. Rainwater is the purest form of natural water. Yes, it is one of the purified water or purest form of water. But however, it dissolves considerable amount of gases. I said now, these gases are present in the environment due to the usage of fossil fuels and the chlorofluorocarbons. So it is dissolving in the carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, that is NO and NO2. So when it is miscible with these gases, it is converts to the impure water and suspended solid particles from atmosphere during its journey through it and becomes polluted. That is rainwater. So it is one of the purified water. The second source is the river water. Rivers are formed by rain and spring water. Yes. So how the rivers are forming? We know that during its flow over the surface of land, it dissolves minerals of the soil such as chlorides, sulfates, bicarbonates of sodium, calcium, magnesium ions, etc. Yes, here the soil is rich in the nutrients. So those are the chlorides, sulfates, bicarbonates of sodium, calcium, magnesium ions. So when this water is miscible with these nutrients, the water is becoming polluted. Not polluted, it is having the salts. Spring or well water or lake water. It contains constant chemical composition. The minerals present in the lake water in the form, dissolved form and high quantity of organic matter. So the well water or the lake water is having the high organic matter. So the dissolved oxygen will be very, very less. So it is not useful for the drinking purpose directly. So after purifying only, we are drinking such type of water because of high amount of organic matter. The next one is the seawater. We know that compared to all, the seawater is having more amount of salts. It is also called as the salt water or salinated water. It is most impure form of natural water. Yes, among all these, it is having more amount of salts. It contains larger percentage of dissolved salts. Yes, so here all the salts are in the dissolved state only. Out of which about 2.6% is sodium chloride. The sodium chloride which is present in the dissolved form in seawater will come out of a sodium chloride crystals due to evaporation of seawater. So you can observe in the sea. So when you are going in the sea or when you are going to the beaches, when you are playing there for a long time with the water, so you can see the salt on your skin. Yes. So why it is happening? Because of the continuous evaporation, those dissolved salts are converts to the solids because of the continuous evaporation. Yes. So it is one of the highly impure water in the natural sources. So what are the natural sources? One is the rainwater, a river water, well or the lake water, and another one is the sea water. Yes, these are the natural sources of water. The other salts present in sea water are sulfates of sodium, bicarbonates of potassium, magnesium, calcium, bromides of potassium, and the magnesium. Yes, these salts also not only sodium chloride, bicarbonates and carbonates of calcium, magnesium, and bromides of potassium, magnesium. These all salts are present in the seawater. And the next one is the underground water. So which is also called as a borewell water, which after digging, we are getting that water as a borewell water. Underground water, spring and well waters are the underground water sources. They are in general clearer in appearance due to filtering action of the soil. Yes, the soil is having the filtering nature. The soil is absorbing all the impurities in the water and converts the water as a purified water. But still it is having some dissolved impurities. They contain more of the dissolved salts. Generally, underground water is of high organic impurity. Yes, it is having the organic impurity in the dissolved state. Yes, that is underground water. So now let us see what are the impurities present in the water. Now we have seen only which type of salts are present in the water. So now let us see the types of impurities in the water. The impurities present in water are classified as dissolved impurities. One is the dissolved impurities. Dissolved impurities may be organic or inorganic. Yes. So maybe we have the organic impurities or the inorganic impurities in the dissolved state. Inorganic impurities are the carbonates, bicarbonates, sulfates, chlorides of calcium, magnesium, iron, potassium, and aluminum. These are the inorganic impurities. But organic impurities are organic water products, amino acids, proteins, etc. And along with inorganic and the organic impurities, water also having some gases. Those gases are oxygen, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, sulfur, and hydrogen sulfide. Yes, these impurities are in the dissolved state. So these impurities are called as the dissolved impurities. What are the dissolved impurities? Dissolved impurities are in the dissolved state, which are maybe organic or inorganic or the gases. The next one is the suspended impurities. Suspended impurities are nothing but the impurities which are not in the dissolved state. For example, like mud particles or sand particles, these are called examples of the suspended impurities. Yes. So here suspended impurities are in the indissolved state, which are not dissolved in the water. These are also two types. One is the inorganic and the another one is the organic. Inorganic example are sand and the clay. Those are the inorganic impurities. But organic impurities are vegetable and the animal matter. Yes, which is also in dissolved state. That is suspended impurities. And the next one is the biological impurities. What are the biological impurities are there? Bacteria is there, fungi is there, microorganisms are there. Yes, these are the examples of the biological impurities. Biological impurities are microorganisms like pathogenic bacteria, fungi, and algae, etc. Yes, these are the biological impurities. So these are the impurities in the water. One is the dissolved impurities. The second one is indissolved impurities. Those are also called as the suspended impurities. And the last one is the biological impurities. And the next one is the disadvantages of hard water, or what are the causes of hardness. What are the disadvantages of hard water? Is it useful for the drinking purpose? No, we can't use that for the drinking purpose. Even the hard water causes many health problems to the human beings. Not only to the human beings, even for the living beings also, it is very, very harmful. And it is also decreasing the strength of the materials. And it is decreasing the strength of the buildings. And many disadvantages of the hard water. Yes. So let us see what are the disadvantages of hard water and what are the causes of hardness. The following are the disadvantages when hard water is used for various purposes. One is the domestic use. Yes, it is very, very, very basic, essential. Yes, especially in the domestic for the cooking, bathing, and the washing. Washing and bathing. Hard water does not form lather easily with soap is wasted. Yes. So when you use the hard water, when you rub with the soap, it is not giving more lather. It is not giving more foam. Because of the presence of hardness in the water, unnecessarily the soap will be wasting. Even in the washing also, when you add the detergent will not completely soluble in the hard water. It is not giving more lather. It is not giving more foam. So the detergent will be wasting here and the clothes quality also will be decreasing here. That is washing and the bathing. Second one is the drinking. Hard water causes bad effects on our digestive system. If you are using continuously that hard water, what happens? Maybe vomiting sensation, maybe the food will not be digested properly. And sometimes stone formation takes place in kidneys. Yes, it is also one of the cause. Yes, not because of drinking less amount of water. If the intake of the salt water is more, also the stones are forming in the kidneys. The next one is the cooking. The boiling point of water is increased due to the presence of salts. If there are no salts in the water, the boiling point will not reach more. For boiling the water, it will not take more amount of temperature. But when the salts are present in the water, it will take more amount of heat to increase the temperature of the water. So the boiling point will be increasing because of the presence of the salts. Hence, more fuel and time are required for cooking. So when you use the salt water, it will take more amount of time for cooking. Yes, these are the disadvantages in the domestic use. The next one is the industrial use. One is the textile industry. Hard water causes wastage of soap. Now I said that. Precipitates of calcium and magnesium soap adhere to the fabrics and cause problem. Yes. So when you use the hard water, the entire soap will be stick on the clothes. So when the soap will be sticking on the clothes, the quality of the product will be decreasing. The quality of the cloth is decreasing. Yes, that is in textile industry. Next, in the paper industry. Calcium and magnesium salts in water may affect the quality of paper. Yes, the quality of paper will be reducing due to the usage of the salt water or the hard water in the paper industry. And the next one is the sugar industry. Water containing sulfates, carbonates, nitrates affects the crystallization of sugar. Yes, for sugar crystallization, if it takes 2 or 3 hours of time by using the drinking water, if we use the salt water, it will take more amount of time for the crystallization. Maybe it will take around 5 to 6 hours of time for the crystallization process. That is the drawback in the sugar industry. And the next one is the pharmaceutical industry. Hard water may form some undesirable products while preparation of pharmaceutical products. So for example, if you want to synthesize one of the tablet in the pharma industry, in addition to the main product, the additional product also forming due to the uses of hard water. So maybe it leads to the health defects. That maybe it leads to health effects. So our aim is should not synthesize the additional product. But by using the hard water, what is happening here? The additional product also forming here. That causes health effects. Yes. So that is one of the drawback in the pharmaceutical industry. And the next one is the steam generation in the boilers. I said now why we are using the boilers in the engineering purpose. What is the use of boilers? For generating the electricity, for power generation. But if we use the salt water in the boilers, what is happening here? It will take more amount of heat for boil the water. That means the unnecessarily wastage of the fuel. Not only that, we have many drawbacks by the usage of salt water in the boilers. For steam generation, let us see this. For steam generation, boilers are employed. If hard water is used in boiler, it may lead to following troubles. These are also called as the boiler troubles. This is not part of our syllabus, but if you want, you can go through the boiler troubles, which already I explained in the previous semester for the civil students. If you want, you can go through that. Yes, those boiler troubles are boiler corrosion, scale and sludge formation, priming and foaming, and another one is the caustic embrittlement. Yes, here these are the 4 boiler troubles due to the uses of salt water in the boilers. The next one is the hardness of water or hard water and the soft water. Yes, so till now we have seen what are the main sources of water, what are the impurities present in the water, and what are the drawbacks of hard water. Yes, so now let us see the many, it is very, very important topic for the examination, types of water. It is very, very important for the short question in the external as well as internal examination. Types of water, we have 2 types of water based on the reaction with soap. On which basis the water is classifying into 2 types? based on the reaction with soap. Based on the reaction with soap, water is classifying into two types. One is called soft water and another one is called the hard water. I said now, if we use soap or detergent, if we mix soap or detergent in the hard water, what is happening? Is it giving more lather or is it giving more foam? No, it is not giving more lather or more foam. Why? Because of the presence of the salts. Yes. So we have many salts in the hard water. Because of the presence of these salts, it is not giving more lather or more foam. Yes. So based on the reaction with soap, water is classifying into two types. One is called the soft water and another one is called the hard water. Hard water means those water which does not produce lather or very little lather with soap is called the hard water. Yes, what is meant by the hard water? The water which gives less or no lather with soap. That is called the hard water. But soft water means which is giving more lather when mixed with little soap. Even if you add the little amount of soap in the soft water, it is giving more lather. Because is soft water is having any salts? Soft water is not having any salts. So because of lack of salts, the soft water is giving more lather with soap. But whereas the hard water is giving less lather with soap due to the presence of these salts. Now, it is also very important hardness. Yes, we know that hard water is having the hardness. What is mean by the hardness? Hardness is nothing but it is the property of hard water. It is a characteristic of hard water. To express the property of hard water, we are using the hardness. The hardness of water is caused by the presence of dissolved salts. Why the hard water is having the hardness? Hardness is due to the presence of dissolved salts such as bicarbonates, sulfates, chlorides and nitrates of bivalent metal. What is a bivalent metal here? Calcium +2 and magnesium +2. So what are the salts present in the hard water and what is the main cause of hardness? Due to the presence of the dissolved salts, those are the bicarbonates, sulfates, chlorides and nitrates of the calcium +2 and the magnesium +2. So what is the soft water? The water which gives more lather with soap. Hard water means the water which gives less lather with soap. Soap is, what is soap here? Soap is nothing but it is one of the salt of the fatty acid. It is sodium or potassium salt of higher fatty acids like stearic acid or oleic acid or palmitic acid. Yes, stearic acid, oleic acid and palmitic acid, these are the fatty acids. These are mixing with the sodium and potassium salts. That is the soap. So we are calling as a sodium stearic acid or potassium stearic acid or sodium oleic acid or potassium oleic acid or sodium palmitic acid and potassium salt palmitic acid. So this is called sodium stearate, potassium stearate, sodium palmate, potassium palmate, sodium oleate, potassium oleate. Yes. So these are the general formulas, formula names of the soaps. But when soap is mixed with soap water, lather is produced due to stearic acid and sodium stearate. Yes. So when we mix with the soft water, because of the lack of salts, it is giving the lather. So see here, sodium stearate. I did not mention the formula of stearate here, but I will give this in the notes. Sodium stearate is mixing with the water. Here, what is H2O here? Soft water here. When it is mixing with H2O, what is happening here? The sodium in the sodium stearate, OH minus in the water. What is the formula of water? H2O, which is forming due to formation of H plus and OH minus, due to combining H plus and OH minus. The OH minus in the water and sodium in the sodium stearate are combining to produce NaOH. And this stearate, this H plus are forming stearic acid. That is C17H35COOH. Yes, Because of this reason, it is forming the lather with soap. So this is stearic acid plus sodium stearate. Stearic acid plus sodium stearate is formation of the lather. Because of this, it is producing the lather with soap. But whereas hard water is not giving the lather. Now let us see. When soap comes in contact with hard water. Now we have seen when soap is contacting with soft water, what is happening over there. But when soap comes in contact with hot water, sodium stearate will react with dissolved calcium and magnesium salts and produce calcium stearate and magnesium stearate. There are no calcium and magnesium ions in the soft water, so there are no production of calcium stearate and magnesium stearate. But here, the hard water is having the calcium +2 and magnesium +2 ions. So, the sodium stearate will react with calcium +2 and magnesium +2 ions to produce calcium stearate, magnesium stearate, which is a white precipitate. Whatever the calcium stearate and magnesium stearate are producing, these are not in the form of precipitate. These are not in the form of lather. It is in the form of precipitate. So because of this reason, the hard water is not giving lather with soap. So let us see the reaction same like the soft water. Sodium stearate plus calcium +2. What is sodium stearate here? Sodium stearate is nothing but our soap. What is calcium +2? Where calcium +2 are present here? These calcium +2 ions are present in the hard water. Yes. So the calcium +2 is reacting with stearate to produce calcium stearate plus 2Na+. The 2Na+ ions in the stearic acid. So now let us see the formula of sodium stearate. What is the stearate formula? C17H35COO Na. This is stearate and this is Na plus Ca+2. Ca+2 is in the hard water. So these two Na+ ions are replacing with calcium +2. So we will get C17H35COO taken twice Ca plus 2Na+. Yes. So this is the formula. Same like this, in the place of calcium +2, magnesium +2 also can replace in the hard water. But this is in the form of precipitate. Because of this reason, hard water is not giving lather with soap. So soft water means the water which gives more lather with soap. Hard water which is giving less lather with soap. So see, let us take different kinds of water here. Let us check what is the hardness. Yes. So for soft water, the hardness is very, very less. For soft water, it is around 0 to 70 milligrams per liter. This is the hardness for the soft water. But when we take moderate hard water, for example, we can take the drinking water and we can take the pond water and we can take the sea water also. I said now the among all the sea water is highly impure water, highly salt water, highly hard water. Whereas the lake water is moderate, but whereas our drinking water or the rain water is a soft water. Yes, so rain water comes under soft water, which is having the less hardness, that is around 0 to 70 milligrams per liter. But whereas moderate hard water is having around 70 to 150 milligrams per liter. Whereas hard water is having 150 to 300 milligrams per liter. But very hard water is having more than 300 milligrams per liter. Yes, this is about the hardness of the different kinds of water and types of hardness. This is also very, very important. Define hardness and explain the types of hardness. What is hardness? It is the characteristic of hard water, and it is lather preventing property of hard water. The hardness is classifying into two types based on its nature. One is temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Temporary hardness is also called as the carbonate hardness. Permanent hardness is also called as the non-carbonate hardness. Temporary hardness means which is temporary. Permanent hardness means which is permanent. temporary hardness is caused by two dissolved bicarbonate salts. How the temporary hardness is causing? Due to the presence of two dissolved bicarbonate salts. Those bicarbonate salts are calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate. Yes, due to the presence of calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate, temporary hardness is causing to the hard water. So this hardness is called temporary hardness. But why we are calling this hardness as a temporary? Because we can remove it. How we can remove the temporary hardness? We can remove the temporary hardness just by boiling. If we boiling that, whatever the bicarbonates are present in temporary hardness, those are breaking, those are decomposing to convert carbonate. Yes, calcium bicarbonate is on heating to convert calcium carbonate. But whereas magnesium bicarbonate on heating, magnesium hydroxide is forming. So is it breaking or not? Yes, it is breaking. So due to breaking or due to decomposing, this is called the temporary hardness. But why the temporary hardness is called as the carbonate hardness? Because of the presence of bicarbonates here. Because of the presence of bicarbonate, it is called as the carbonate hardness. So now let us see the permanent hardness. Permanent hardness of water is due to the dissolved chlorides, sulfates, and the nitrates of calcium and magnesium. Why the temporary hardness is causing? Due to the presence of bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. That means calcium bicarbonate, magnesium bicarbonates are present in the temporary hardness. But whereas in the permanent hardness, chlorides, sulfates, and nitrates of calcium and magnesium are present. So these salts are chlorides of calcium. That means calcium chloride, magnesium chloride. Sulfates of calcium and magnesium. That means calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate. Nitrates of calcium and magnesium. That means calcium nitrate, magnesium nitrate. That's what here. Calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, calcium nitrate, magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate, magnesium nitrate. So these 6 salts are responsible for the permanent hardness. So these hardness cannot be removed easily by boiling. Like temporary hardness, we can't remove the permanent hardness just by boiling. So the name is a permanent. Hence it is called the permanent hardness. But only chemical treatment can remove this hardness. That means by adding some chemicals, we can remove the permanent hardness. Now we have seen temporary hardness and the permanent hardness. So by adding temporary and permanent, we can get the total hardness of water. So total hardness is nothing but temporary plus permanent hardness. But I said now, we can remove the permanent hardness by the chemical treatment. Those chemical treatments are ion exchange method, reverse osmosis process, lime soda process, geolite process. By using ion exchange method, reverse osmosis process, geolite process, lime soda process, we can remove the permanent hardness. But among these, 2 are part of our syllabus. One is the reverse osmosis and the ion exchange method. And today's last topic is the degree of hardness. Just I will define the degree of hardness, but again, I will continue this topic in the next class because it is very, very important, the numericals. In the next class, let us see the numericals of degree of hardness also. The concentration of hardness as well as non-hardness constituting ions are usually expressed in terms of equivalence of amount of calcium carbonate. Yes, the concentration of hardness. The hardness can be measured in terms of concentration. So here we are saying the concentration of hardness as well as non-hardness constituting ions. Hardness causing ions and the non-hardness causing ions usually expressed in terms of equivalent amount of calcium carbonate. Why we are expressing in terms of equivalent amount of calcium carbonate? Because its molecular weight is 100 and its equivalent weight is 50. That we will see in the continuation topic. Since this mode permits the multiplication and division concentration when required. So whenever we need the concentration of particular water, we can express that concentration in terms of equivalent amount of calcium carbonate. So the choice of calcium carbonate in particular is due to its molecular weight. Why we are choosing calcium carbonate? Because its molecular weight is 100. Its equivalent weight is 50. 100 by 2. Because calcium plus 2 is having 2. So 100 by 2, it is bivalency. 100 by 2, we will get 50. So the calculation will be easy. Because of that reason, we are expressing in terms of equivalent amount of calcium carbonate. Remaining, we will see in the next class. You go through the class and prepare the notes. No? Thank you so much. Remaining, we will see in the next class.